When the Mavericks lost to the Celtics in the finals, it wasn't the offensive outbursts of Luka Doncic that caught the attention of the front office. It was actually the non-existent defense and his non-ability to take care of his body. Fast forward to Christmas 2024, Luka suffered a calf strain which would be the cherry on top, and well, it's real. Luka Doncic just got traded to the Lakers, and Anthony Davis is coming to the Mavericks. This here is ridiculous. It signifies that the Mavs were tired of Luka Doncic. Whether you agree with them trading him or not, they want to win now. And when they seen a player they didn't believe would work hard to fix said issues, well, that's when you go ahead and push the button. At 25 years old, being an MVP caliber type player, it's crazy that you would be traded in the middle of a season, and this is why things are so unbelievable. But look, some people think the Mavs lost this trade, and maybe you're right in the long term. But in the short term, this will be great for the Mavs if everyone stays healthy. Now that is a big if, but Anthony Davis has been begging to play the 4 as he talked to the upper management about getting a 5 when he was with the Lakers, but ultimately they ended up trading him instead to a team where his wishes would be granted. When Davis was in LA, you could say he was the #1 option, but you have to think about it. When you play with LeBron, you're still not really the #1 as your playstyle simply has to switch. With AD coming to the Mavericks, he can now approach the game the way he wants. Kyrie isn't some guy who shifts the game to be only played through his lens, as he's able to take the backseat to allow guys to dictate the game if they're rolling, and with him having an all-star player in Anthony Davis, it takes things up a notch. Without Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving put up 26 points, 5 assists and 5 rebounds in 30 games for the Mavericks, and with the way he slices defenses, he's able to play make on the floor if needed. When coming off these pick and rolls, teams will be hesitant to double like this because now instead of Gafford, you're going to have AD in some of these actions as well. Regardless though, Kai is able to beat the double by turning the corner quickly, and at the very last second when no one expects the pass, this is set up perfectly for Gafford to go E. Now this isn't to say he's going to replace Luka Doncic, as Luka is 6'8", 6'9", and can see the floor from a whole different view. What I am saying though is that given the need to set up his team for good looks, Irving is no slouch. Take a look at this past year's playoff series versus OKC. Irving dished out 6.2 assists per game, but if you look at his 2 highest games combined, he delivered 20 assists while only turning the ball over 3 times. This here shows you how Irving can influence the game without even scoring. You can see here he's able to gain the attention of 3 defenders, and he has a couple options. Irving could send it out to Dinwiddie as pull slid over to help. He could also continue to the basket as his man is trailing the play, or like we're about to witness, Irving can push enough to make the big commit and then throw up this beautiful lob.
Kyrie putting it up for Gafford on.
This pick and roll action is already solid with Gafford and the injured Derek Lively, so when you insert AD into this same action, it's gonna help them greatly. Whether he stays patient and threads it through the middle for a bucket inside, or if he decides to use that handle to break the defender before throwing the lob, Kyrie has no problem with either option. Now, is this saying the Mavericks will be all good with only Kyrie Irving's passing? Well, no, because his scoring is a factor too. But when you have AD in the game with him at the same time, this is where things become difficult. Say here on this play, this is AD instead of Maxey. Now Davis might wait for Irving to get a handoff, but once again, the defense won't be so quick to jump off AD to go double Kyrie, so this will allow Kyrie to attack the basket with a more open route, and let's say they do double, well most likely AD will short roll to the mid-range, and Davis is definitely someone Kyrie can put more trust in to feed the ball. So far this season, Anthony Davis is putting up 25 points and 12 rebounds on 60% true shooting. Pairing his offense next to Irving's is great, but not only that, he brings over his defense that can really bother opposing teams. Up until this trade, AD is making opponents shoot 6.6% less than average on all 2-pointers, which shows you just how well he can affect the game. Now this stat is tracked kinda weird, so take it with a grain of salt, but here's where you must add in the eye test. With his defensive versatility, guards can't just fly off screens thinking they'll shoot over him or else they'll be in for a rude awakening. Not only that, but if guys think they can throw a lob over the top once he commits, we'll go ahead and say goodbye to that. And even if bigs are to use the muscle and try to bully Davis, he can still go ahead and block it. With this ability that AD has to keep the home safe, when you put that alongside the other defenders on this team, the Mavs start to look scary. Hear me out. Right now, the Mavs are at rank 13 in defensive rating at 112 points per game, but they haven't been healthy. If we rewind back to last year when leading up to the playoffs, they were a top defensive team showcasing they could make it tough on opponents. And whether you want to believe it or not, losing Luka Doncic doesn't take anything away from that. Now, is Kyrie a defender that is super great? I wouldn't really say so, but if you watched the playoffs closely last year, you would have seen that Kyrie made great rotations, had quick hands, and pretty much has that vet IQ when it comes to big stages. Now we all know defense wins championships, but a lot of people are starting to think it's offense instead, And hey, even if it is, well, AD and Kai don't lack any firepower when pouring in the buckets. Now hold on. Let me give a little disclaimer. Everything in this video is not a point to compare their value to Luka. This is just to show you how good these two can be together. This season, Kyrie is averaging 24 points and 4 assists on 47% shooting from the field and 41% from deep range. Shifted over to his new big man, well, we already said his stats earlier in this video, but how amazing is it to see it on the floor? If you want to use AD in the pick and roll, well, there's no issue as AD can finish off the roll just fine. And with him shooting 42% from the mid-range, if the defense decides to stay in drop coverage, then he can operate in that in-between area. I know a lot of people like to call Davis soft and whatnot, but AD doesn't mind if he has to take it right at the defense to go score, as his broad 6'10 frame can give defenses problems. With the Mavericks, they haven't had a big who can create their own shot, work in the pick and roll, and let alone be a #1 option. The last time Dallas seen this was when Dirk was here, so now with an elite guard in Kyrie and an all-star in Davis, I'm sure things will look quite different. If you ask me, I truly believe that AD will enforce his will a lot more when playing with Kyrie Irving, as I think he will really feel the need to carry this team, and that's not because Kyrie isn't a good player, but it's because, well, he's in Dallas, not LA. When you get traded from a team out of nowhere as if you weren't talked about as their future, it's going to give you that fire to really showcase who you are, and this is where things can get scary. I'm not exactly sure why AD wanted to play the 4 so bad, as he was decent at the 5 position, but hopefully this means he wants to get more mobile and get into his bag, as this will make the opposing team stuck on how to guard him. Think about it, instead of Irving coming off a handoff every time, AD can create for himself in the mid-range, and if the defense does decide to sink in, well, Klay Thompson is available in that corner. This right here is just a quick example of how the Mavs can operate in the offense, and none of us can forget how well Irving can put it on the deck to go get a full course meal. People will constantly talk about Irving not showing up in the finals and that he can't lead the team ever since he left LeBron and blah blah blah. And to be honest, that's not the argument I'm here for. I believe Kyrie has grown and can work well with other stars as he understands when to enforce his will or when he needs to take a back seat. Sure, in the finals he chose the wrong time to sit back, but that's not something we usually see from Kyrie. As we look at this new Mavericks era, one thing is clear, this isn't just a trade, it's a statement. Is it a risk? Maybe, but it's also a potential game changer. Anthony Davis is finally in the system that allows him to thrive the way he's always wanted. Kyrie Irving, a proven closer, ready to take on the challenge of leading a team his way. And all in all, you have a Mavericks squad that might look different, but still has that firepower to contend. It's really quite funny how fast narratives can shift. 1 minute people are questioning the Mavericks' direction, the next, they could be watching AD and Kyrie redefine what this team could be. Defense, versatility, shot creation, Dallas has all the tools. Now the only question left is what happens next. Because if this duo clicks the way it should, if they stay healthy, then we could be looking at something special. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.